Hey guys, it's Melissa Keenan here, CEO and intimacy coach with a beautiful message today about us really putting ourselves in check with this inner voice that says you're too much. You guys, I'm so excited to talk about this today. And I feel like this is it's almost become such a plague for women that we almost just sort of go, yeah, we're all just gonna feel this way always. Like we just sort of go yeah, there's not really much you can do about that. Does anybody resonate with that? This idea that, oh, I'm too big, I'm too much. And then the flip side of that same exact coin is I'm not enough. Right? We just do this to ourselves. Hi Shakina. Say hi in the comments if you guys are here and you're watching. I'd love to hear who's here, who's watching, and really break this down today. I'm feeling a little cathartic about this because this runs so deep for me personally, you guys. As a kid growing up, I was always like the big loud hi Denise, big loud joyful bubbly huge energy person. That's just who I was. And I remember so many messages like, don't be such a spaz. That was a big one that I always heard. Stop being such a spaz. Which doesn't even sound mean, right? It's like, I think it was my parents' playful way of trying to ask me to tone it down. That was the other thing I always heard. Then when I moved in with my Aunt and Uncle, tone it down, hold it down. And I shared in a post earlier this week about even then experiencing that with my first true love of my life. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to marry that guy. We were so in love. In our own high school way. But then for him to turn to me and say, and if you haven't read the post, go read it, it's a good one. But turn to me and say, you're so loud, Melissa. I remember him just saying it like that. That literally I could still feel the cold chill that went through my whole entire body when he said that to me. Like I felt like I might have been walking around naked in the hallways in high school. Just felt so much shame. Always this piece, right? Yeah, share yours in the comments. You've been told you're so intense. Hi, Gabby. Yeah, right? There's so many messages that were thrown at us. Too loud, too big, too bubbly. One of the things I've always hated, this is like a pet peeve of mine, when you're super excited about something and someone looks at you and goes, whoa. Like you're bad for being excited. Why do we do these things to each other? It's so dumb. Don't we want more happiness in our lives? And yet I've done it. I've totally done it. So with all this, I've shared all this with you, right? And like I said, please share in the comments. I think there's a little bit of a delay, but if you want to share in the comments, tell us, what have been those messages for you about that, stay subdued, stay small. Even sharing all this and having this awareness and being the kind of coach that I am and everything, you would think then that I wouldn't repeat the pattern. But I have one child in particular who is so like me. She triggers the crap out of me because she's bubbly and happy and a lot and fun. And it breaks my heart. I'm working on this all the time, you guys, because what the crap, it's like this inner reaction comes out of me before I even have time to recognize what's going on, of me telling her to hold it down and stuff. What the heck? You laugh too loud. Yes. Oh, I hate that one. Oh my gosh, I hate that one. So, and then compound that with, I'm the kind of person who can laugh at a funeral. Even in my coaching, I've had to work on not laughing. And it's not because I'm laughing at someone. It's because I've developed a laugh as a way to deal with uncomfortable situations. So yeah, add to all that, right? And we have our ways, and it's like we're always towing this line. And I loved, Brene Brown really addressed this a couple of years ago when all her work really started coming out into the forefront for the first time. And she talks about gender. Have you guys read her book called Men, Women, and Worthiness? I mean, it is a good one. And it's kind of anti-culture, I would say, because people could totally call her a sexist for writing a book about men and women and their differences, but she did it. And it's a good one. So go look that up. But in there, she talks about how she had to do that because she found that people's shame was associated by gender, and there were patterns that were super clear in her data where the way that we experience shame was kind of categorized by our gender. And one of the things that came through super strong for women was, I have to stay small, I have to stay meek, and I have to stay quiet. And it's isn't that so fascinating? I mean, her work came out like 5 years ago or something, right? Maybe 7 years ago. So we're talking modern day here, all these people that she interviewed, and the women still felt the need to be small and quiet and subdued. And I just think, man, where did that come from? If we can pull apart, you've heard me say this before, our feminine energy from our cultural construct of what it means to be feminine. If we can actually pull that apart and then just go, what is feminine energy? It's actually super expressive. Did you guys know that? So like, you're mad is very feminine. You're angry is very feminine. Your over the top, whatever it is very feminine. Isn't that great? Not culturally, right? Culturally, for whatever reason, there's this stay small, stay quiet, and boy, we could really go back through time. In fact, what's coming to me, I'll share a little bit of some of the work I've been doing, just research and stuff I've been doing on Mary Magdalene. Do I have any Mary Magdalene fans here? Because it's a little controversial. But Mary Magdalene has a gospel of scripture that has been found. It's called the Gospel of Mary. And in it, there's this, and Megan Watterson is a great person to follow if you want to learn more about Mary Magdalene. Megan Watterson, you can find her on Facebook and stuff. But she just wrote a great email about this even today. There's a scripture in the Gospel of Mary that where Peter comes to Mary and he says to her, since you were, first he calls her sister, and then he says, since you were the most beloved out of any of the disciples of Christ, teach us something that we don't already know. And that's like earth-shattering stuff. So first of all, he called her sister at a time when women were considered less than, and they definitely were not brother and sister. Second of all, she knew, the second one is she was the most beloved of all. So this kind of goes into that conspiracy that maybe they were married. Maybe Jesus and Mary Magdalene had this epic love, which gets me so excited. I like love thinking about this. And then the third piece is there was stuff that she knew that the men didn't know. But then when you trace her, there's hardly any trace, right? Then what happened to her? If she knew more than any of the disciples, what happened to her? I'm like, she was erased. It was like, what she knows is too dangerous. It's too radical. We don't like it. Makes us uncomfortable. It's probably super feminine. And so she lived out the rest of her life in a cave in hiding. And I think that that's just one more tale of like this patriarchy and oppression for women. So this whole like I'm being too much, it's like a part of our DNA. It's a part of our lineage back who knows how far. But it didn't always used to be that way. Way back, women, it was a matriarchy system. And anyway, I'm not going to go any more into all that. Super fascinating stuff. I love reading about all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right, Michelle? I think so too. I really do. Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, just share our excitement. Thanks, I love what you guys are saying in here. He sensed her wisdom and her divinity. Oh my gosh, Sarah. Right? But how did we lose that? That's the piece that's so interesting to me. And I see us as a society trying to gain it back somehow. And so I think it doesn't feel in alignment to me to compete with men. I tried that. I really tried living in that space and trying to compete with men and thinking that meant that was me being in my big fullest expression, right? Do you guys relate? I mean, I feel like all of us were raised in this day and age like, let me just compete with men, and that's me in my fullest expression. But no, there's this other thing, and it's a feminine, divine feminine thing that doesn't look like men, and it also doesn't look like a subdued, quiet, muted woman. It's in between, and it's beautiful, and it's uniquely ours. And so if we bring this all this back down, right back down to you in your life, and this messaging that you tell yourself, I can't do that. I'm too much. I'm too big. How do you think that's affecting you in your life? How do you think it's affecting you in your business? And how do you think it might be affecting you in your marriage? Super fascinating to me, because when I married my husband, I thought to myself, this is the one person I can really be myself with. I really felt that way when we got married. And then it was so odd to me to just observe myself, how I would subdue myself, hold myself back. I didn't really belt out songs. Like, I love to sing. I didn't really belt out any songs in my home until like year 8 or something in our marriage. It took me that long to feel comfortable to shine with him. And if you're not sure if this really applies in your marriage, how many of you feel like you have permission to be mad in your marriage? Obviously, we could do bad things when we're mad. We could do things that will hurt people. I'm not talking about that, but just letting yourself express, like, I'm so mad about this. I feel angry, right? And letting your husband see you in that. I mean, you throw your own tantrums in your own closet, right? It's like punching your pillow or whatever it is. Have you let your husband see you that way? Again, that was another thing. Mary said, sing for me. Okay, I'll sing at the end. Terrified to sing in front of my husband or even pray. Yes, we have all these things that it's like, this feels so vulnerable. And that's kind of the key that I wanted to bring this full circle. You're all in this group because intimacy matters to you, because you want deeply intimate relationships, right? That's why you are all here. That's the thing that unites all of us, is like, we're committed to that. And letting this voice prevail in our lives is a gap that's keeping us from experiencing the depth of intimacy that's possible to us. That full self-expression is everything. Somebody popping in. Everything when it comes to true intimacy. And then what's neat too is you liberating yourself and then watching it liberate those around you. Watching it liberate your partner. You know, married to the strong cowboy type, doesn't talk about his feelings a lot, doesn't say too much, and then next thing you know, he's like, sure, I'd go out and dance with you, right? Or whatever. I know my husband had so many different ways that he was held back. And recently we went to this man's home. We were invited to this man who was a shaman, invited to his home, which was out in the wilderness. It was the most beautiful experience. And my husband was asked to lead in this like Native American chant that he didn't know what to do or whatever. And because we practice this, like as a family, it's like, no, the bigger the better. Because that means we're that much closer. We're in this environment. And he's like, okay. And he tells my kids, okay, I want you to do this and this. He's got them like making these little, you know, like, hey, yay, 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 doing these different little things. And he let out in this beautiful chant. And I was like, you guys, my husband is little like Mormon husband guy, like super quiet, nice, friendly. That's my husband. And so watching him, I'm like, it's because as a family we've said no more. We're not going to do that whole, you know, you're too big, you're too much, right? So my loves, if this is resonating with you and you're like, I really am so ready to go into this in the fullest way, to create this intimacy by letting myself radiate and shine, and surely you can see how that's going to affect every aspect of your life. I would love to hold space for you in that and explore what your next step looks like by hopping onto a call. And I'll put my link right here in the comments for that. So I'd love to do that with you. If we haven't ever hopped on a call before, let's meet, let's talk, and let's talk about you shining in your divinity, shining your truth forward. Okay, Mary. Right here on my live, she says, I want you to sing. So, what should I sing? What should I sing, guys? What have I been singing recently? I don't know, I gotta think about this. Well, for some reason, the one, oh man, oh my gosh, that's so funny you would say that, Denise, because you know what? I did pageants when I was a kid. In fact, oh yeah, I do. I totally have my crown in here. We're redecorating my office. My crown is sitting right here next to me. I did pageants, and guess what? I won with, man, I feel like a woman. Is that the one I should do, you guys? Give me some hearts. Is that the one? All right, here we go. Well, I don't have any background music. That's okay, right? I'm going out tonight, I'm feeling alright, gonna let it all hang out, wanna raise my voice, really raise my voice, yeah, I wanna scream and shout. The best thing about being a woman is the prerogative to have a little fun, and you're totally crazy, forget I'm a lady. Men's shirts, short skirts, really go wild and feeling it in style, giving the action, feel the attraction, color my hair, do it a dare, wanna be free and feel the way I feel, man, I feel like a woman. Fun. Boy, it's been a little while on that one, huh? I had a couple notes that were off, but that was so much fun. I did not come here prepared to sing, but here it is, living what I preach. And my friends, please come, let's have a chat so that you can be in your free, liberated, radiant, divine feminine self. Bye-bye, guys.